Hello, Ofelia and this side. So today we're going to be discussing about discussion board for questions week 5. To start, I would like to start with a question. How may you as a therapist respond to a gender identity question in client? Primarily, I would like to ensure that I understand what the client is asking so I don't make assumptions. Secondly, I will answer to the best of my knowledge, as I don't know it all. I probably know 10% of what I should know. And I will do it mainly to ensure that I have the right resources to refer to, as well as peer review articles. So from now on, I'm going to start building up kind of like my repertoire. So I'm looking for really good articles that will benefit me to kind of create my book, so I can refer back to it when I need to answer questions that the clients might have. So if you're reading this video and you come across with a really good article that can benefit and add to my toolbox, please don't hesitate to send that back to me. So thirdly, I will limit to share about my personal opinion or my personal experience. I do have personal experience with gender identity, with clients who choose to become different gender than what they are born, not only clients, but family members. And even a very short story that I had a boyfriend when I was 16, 17 years old, who he will only hold my hand. Well, I'm sharing now. I shouldn't be sharing. Okay, moving on. Because that's the first thing I was thinking, is not sharing about personal opinion or personal experience. So lastly, I have, if I don't have the answer to the question that the client has, then I would suggest doing our own research. It could be a research that can be done when we are in therapy, or if he or she wants to do it on his own, that would be great. However, if the client feels that I am not fully competent to answer his or her questions, I'll be more than happy to refer out to a specialist, to a therapist specialist. Question 2, what personal bias, positive or negative, do you bring to such a client relationship? So I believe that we should be respectful to other people, regardless of their sex preferences or gender identity. And what they do with their sexuality pretty much is their business. At the end, we're all looking for happiness, and if making changes with their sexuality makes them happy, we should be supportive, or at least educate ourselves in the topic so we don't get in their way towards happiness. I do remember, I'm not sure if it was Albert Einstein who said that it was easier to judge people than to understand. That's why many people would rather judge. So in order for us to be able to understand, I think it is important for us to educate ourselves. Now, a negative bias. That I am, a negative thing that I am not well informed is a negative thing about me. I think there is always a room for us to be biased, even though we don't want to. So I feel that I should get very well informed about all the terms that they use, just as the video that we were watching in this week. So let me see, there are some really important things, words that this couple shares. So there is this, which I think, what is gender dysphoria, transgender, okay. So this is something that William Kaiser shared in this week's video, and he said, oh no, this is something else. I remember that I was writing some very interesting words that William was sharing. So I just think that was great. I mean, that was such a great video. So going back. Okay, so negative bias. Okay, I also think that, mm, so I think that we should get very well informed in regards to the terminology that they use, so we don't, we don't create those awkward moments where they will be thinking like, what is she trying to say? Or maybe give some space for them to feel offended and take things personal. So that's something that I would really hate, to say something wrong and make them feel off, or offend them. So another thing is about mindset. We are so used to call a he a male person, or call a she a female person, because that is, well, at least that is my mindset. So I feel that I will struggle, like when a person, which to my eyes looks masculine, I don't feel, I feel that I would struggle, and that will be at a subconscious level, not consciously. Consciously, if that person asks me, like for example, if he's a male but he wants me to refer to her as a female, then of course I will call by she. However, my subconscious mind needs to be, it is already mechanical, so I need to change kind of like the mechanics of the mind. So I think that would be one of the kind of like the negative bias that I will put out there. However, I really, really would like to share that with my clients so they don't take it personal, but they will know that I am also on my growing process, not learning how to accept them, because it's not about that, but it is about reprogramming my mind to, to a new normality per se. Question number 3, what steps may you take to better prepare yourself and to keep yourself well prepared to support clients exploring this evolving process? So I will be mindful about the process or journey they are going through. Thus, I will have to prepare and learn, and learn. For example, I was reading this article by Jen and his team. The article name is Gender Variations, Timing, and Status of Gender Identity Milestone. So as soon as I heard gender identity milestone, I was thinking like, hold on, this sounds so interesting. So this article talks about gender identity milestones. And one of the milestones that they share is about how they go through this process of feeling different about their gender. That what that expectations for their sex assigned at birth. So for example, I am a woman, and I am 11 years old, and I look myself in the mirror, and I have always known that I am a girl. However, I'm not happy with what I see in the mirror. I feel more like a male. So that's one stage. And then it's identifying as a transgender and gender diverse. The another stage is for some accessing gender affirming medical. So we need to learn how to identify those milestones that they, that they should go through, just like the milestones that we all do regardless of what gender we are, like with the milestones that we can admit, like by the time you're born, by the time you're in, you start breastfeeding and bottle feeding, and then you're able to crawl and able to walk, and so on and so forth. There is also a milestone that with this gender identity that they also made. So in addition, beyond that effects of the milestone timing, they also report that clients have to have some sort of feelings of congruence with one's gender identity. And that is very important, because that's pretty much affecting their mental health. If there is not congruency, it's gonna be affected by anxiety, depression, and things like that. So question number 4, how will I support a family struggle? A family struggling to support a transitioning family member? I think this is a great question. So first of all, I will provide psychoeducation in positive regard. why positive regard, which is that it is important to understand that it is just as this person is not easy to find, to identify exactly what is the gender that they want to be. It's not easy for the individual. So it was also difficult for the family to kind of like see them transition into this. So will definitely be understandable with the person who made the decision to change their gender, but also with the family. So something that I would like to share really quick. I do had, and 2 weeks ago, I did have this male, which is the identified client. He was on his, I believe it was 55. He is 55 years old. He came to my office, and he was sharing about having problems, about, he was stressing out, and he shared about stress about his job, and he just keeps going and going in circles until I stopped him. I said, okay, tell me what is the problem, because I'm not sure what is the problem. He's like, I just want you to know that I am so happy with life. I have the best wife, the perfect kids. I am healthy, so I'm very grateful with God. However, there is one news that my son, who is 29, come up to me and said, and he's like, okay, so what is the problem? And he went like in circles, and I'm, what is the situation? What are you struggling with? He finally shared, my son got married. He's a professional. He's traveling all over the world because of his profession. However, he separated his wife 3 months ago. He came to the house. He was depressed for 1 whole month. I didn't know what to do, how to say, how to move forward, until he opened up to me and my wife, and he shared about he wanted to transition from being a man to being a woman, female. So he was in shock, and he started sharing about how wife and him were going through very difficult times with depression, and not knowing how to move forward with sense in their relationship. So I did a little bit of psychoeducation, positive regard, and of course, I encouraged the mom and dad to come for therapy. Not only that, but also because mom is in denial. So I also share a little bit about the grieving process, which, as we know, the grieving process is especially for people who have lost a loved one. However, the grieving process, we all go through that also when we lose a house, when we sell a house, when our kids move out of the house, when we lose a job. So it is also, we also go through the grieving process when we find out that one of our kids are going through, through changing their gender. So I think that would be a great thing to do. I'll follow up with Clay next week, and I'll probably start by and, kind of share a little bit about the story, so you can get to ask me questions and get more details in regards to that. So other than that, I think this is a great idea about us being able to record videos, because that's the best way to get to know and understand what exactly do we know and what exactly we don't know, so we can do our homework.